Hey guys, welcome back to The Fast Break with Taylor and Jake. I'm Jake, this is Taylor, and we're going to talk about the All-Star events, and probably there's a few other things we'll go over.
Yeah, this is going to be a very, very short episode because there's not a ton to talk about in the All-Star break.
All-Star players get a week off, and we're taking a week.
Yeah.
No, we're not taking a week off, but there's just not as much to talk about.
Right.
Taylor, I want to start off and ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10...
0.
Really?
No. What were you going to say?
On a scale of 1 to 10, what grade would you give the, or what would you rate the All-Star?
Game or
Usually
weekend?
Weekend, but it was all Sunday. What would you rate All-Star Sunday? 1 to 10. 10 being best All-Star weekend you've ever seen, 0 being the greatest one.
6 to 7, and the only reason I'm giving it a 7 is because of one event.
So you think... I'd give it a 5.
I was going to say 5 because it was not very good.
I was just... Here's honestly like what gives it 2.5 points for me. I actually I hope they do this. I like that they kept it all on Sunday. Because like I've kind of said this before, like I just have a hard time just watching, like 3 nights in a row of All-Star Weekend. Like there's just things going on. And I just don't care so much to watch like a really extended out, drawn out thing.
2.5 hours every single night. Yeah.
I think the players even probably preferred it because they can show up Saturday, All-Star Sunday, and then head back to their vacations. Like they don't want to be stuck in. I mean, next year it's in Cleveland. Like, you think they want to be spending All-Star Week off in Cleveland? I wouldn't. If I had their kind of money, I'd be, traveling to like the Bahamas or Bora Bora or something like that. Like, not Cleveland.
Like Wisconsin, it's a good place to go.
But anyway, yeah. So I did like that it was all in one night. Actually, I hope they do that. I don't think they will. I think they can make more money if they spread it out. Should we talk about kind of each event? Yeah.
Really fast. Let me just dive into this. This is make my case.
Should we do that after?
Sure, that works too.
Okay. Just so you can kind of just.
Yep.
Put it all. So first event was
Skills challenge. Domantas Sabonis won. That's about all you need to know. Chris Paul missed a layup, which is the second time he's missed a layup in that competition. Chris Paul is the worst skills challenge player for missing 2 layups.
Yeah, skills challenge. They run through some cones, make a few passes, hit a layup. It's whatever. I didn't. If I hadn't even watched it at all, I wouldn't have cared.
No. Did you watch it?
A little bit.
He watched it, folks.
I half watched.
He watched it.
Hey, that's because it was all on the same day. Again, best thing the NBA has ever done.
Yeah.
Well, not quite, but Then next is a 3-point shootout, and you know what, Taylor, my whole life I've again like half watched 3-point shootout. I usually see who wins, but that was the most interesting event in the All-Star weekend.
It was great.
So Mike Conley shot way better than I thought he would.
Oh yeah.
Mike Conley was terrific.
He just had him. He just matched up with Steph. That's his only point. Any other 3-point shootout in NBA history, he would have won.
Yeah.
But this one, he happened to match up with Steph Curry.
Yeah. So he got unlucky. Steph won his. It was actually his second.
Well, it's second in 7 tries. So it's actually worse than LeBron James's finals record. But he busts out a NBA record 31 points in the first round though.
But is it a record because they added the 3-point balls?
Well, they've added so much.
I think at this point in the NBA contest, you can't just go off score because they've had multiple alterations. I think you just go off of percentage of points you got out of what you could have got.
Right.
Anyways, it's
a possibility of 40 points when it used to be. Probably five years ago was 30 points. It was 5 racks, normal like that. But they didn't have a money ball rack. They just had the money ball on the last ball on each rack. And
now they have the money ball rack and the 3-point shot, which is kind of the Mountain Dew.
What was it, 30 feet out?
Something like that, yeah. Few feet behind the line.
Yeah.
The average Damian Lillard shot.
Yeah.
Layup for him.
Yeah.
We can talk about that in a second. So yeah, 3-point contest was good. It was. It just feels short. I don't know why, but I don't know. The dunk contest, they always feel really short.
Yeah.
But they have to make them these long things.
Right.
And then was the actual All-Star game came after that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the All-Star game, did you know, I think there was like 133 threes taken.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
133. That's why I have a hard time. I just can't take the All-Star game serious unless it's a close fourth quarter.
Right.
Then it's interesting.
Like last year's.
Right, yeah, last year's. And I want to say, I do think the year before, they tried to emphasize like making it a good game and it was just more competitive. They're back to their old ways of open layups, whoop, 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 just going nuts. And it's fun. Like, you can have a little fun and obviously be a little offbeat then.
It's all for charity, though. I know they raised over $1 million worth of charity because of how many dunks they had, how many 3-pointers they had. So I guess it's all for charity. So that's why it's lackadaisical on defense. But
I went back just to see what it was like. I just on YouTube looked up the '96 All-Star game. Didn't watch the whole thing, but just kind of like glancing through little chunks. And like literally, from in the first quarter, they were D'ing each other up. There were fouls, there were whistles, there was half-court pressure.
Right.
It wasn't even the same at all
right.
what it is now. And again, like there were players doing things they normally would, and some extra flashy passes, and that's fine. I like that about the All-Star game. But man, it would have been cool to see a few a few contested shots or a few contested layups or some teamwork and Utah Jazz style basketball, but.
Right.
It is what it is. It's the All-Star game. That's why I have low expectations.
Yeah.
Team LeBron won.
I figured they would. I don't know what Durant was drafting. I don't know, even last year when Giannis was drafting, I don't know what the crap he was drafting for. LeBron seems to be drafting all the right players.
I don't know what the deal is. Like, LeBron seems to make the obvious decision.
I mean, Durant's first pick was Kyrie.
Yeah. I think he's just trying to show his teammates some love.
Yeah.
It's got to be it.
He's like, I'm not going to play, so let's lose. Kyrie, come here, buddy.
And then,
dismal, it's every single possible negative word dunk contest happened.
Yeah. Oh, it
was terrible.
I was ready to move on from All-Star game. I had forgotten they did it at halftime and it happened.
It was terrible. And I said this last week, you cannot have three no-names.
Dunk contest was 4 out of 10.
That's generous. So you got Cassius Stanley.
There were some decent dunks. Most of them were quickly good. So I'll give it a 4 out of 10 just because.
But Cassius Stanley has not dunked yet this entire season.
Really?
Huh. And Fernie Simons has dunked 2 times this entire season. You think there's a reason? I'm like, guys. Pick someone who can dunk. Obi Toppin has dunked 18 times, which I guess in 27 games or 25 games. I looked it up because I want to see how many games he played.
25 games?
Yeah, I didn't think he had. That's what it said, something like that. 20-something. And he already has 18 dunks. That's more okay. But when Blake Griffin was in the dunk contest, he had over 100 dunks at the time, I believe.
Really?
Like, come on, people. Pick some dunkers. And if you guys are too wussy to be in the dunk contest, well, pull up your big boy pants and do it, because it's for fun. And if you don't want to get injured, nobody has gotten injured in the dunk contest. No one has ever gotten injured. So if you're worried about that, okay, you'll be the first to do it. Embarrass yourself. Everyone embarrasses himself in the dunk contest. Despite Aaron Gordon having an incredible dunking resume, he's never won yet.
And nobody says anything bad about him. Everyone realizes he is a top dunker of all time.
Right.
Here's the thing, I know all the dunks haven't been done because Aaron Gordon just pulled off a few dunks that, we've never seen before. Haven't seen them since.
Right.
And they weren't doing double backflips in the air. They were crazy impressive, but he was so creative.
Right.
That other players can step
up. And he didn't get over creative. Some people try to be out the most impossible props that just look ridiculous. I'm like, don't do that. Cassius Stanley, this tells you how hard some of Aaron Gordon's dunks are. So Cassius Stanley has a 44-inch vertical, which according to, I think it was Bleacher Report, was the highest vertical in the draft combine in the past 10 years.
Really?
So I'm like, don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah, 44, That's pretty.
It's high. He tried to do Aaron Gordon's under the legs dunk.
Is that what he was
doing? And missed it. He didn't actually attempt it. He couldn't even pull it off for like 3 or 4 times. Aaron Gordon did it on the very first try, I believe.
Yeah.
I mean,
over a mascot.
That just tells you
over the mascot too. What did
Yes, it was. He did. He used the mascot twice.
Right.
And both dunks were incredible. So like that tells you how hard it was.
That's probably the best one I've ever seen. Where he goes really over the mascot, grabs it.
It really is.
And he didn't even like go up. He went like after he was behind the hoop, like straight back like that.
Well, because you see these players jump over players. Let me tell you one thing. One, they're never jumping over anyone because one, they're spreading their legs out and letting them go through, and 2, they're usually pushing off their shoulders anyway. Yeah. Aaron Gordon, you couldn't have pushed off because he used one hand, swung it over, so he cleared Puff the Magic Dragon. I was gonna say Piff, but that's a magician. Puff the Magic Dragon. He cleared him. I mean, Aaron Gordon.
It was crazy.
So this dunk contest was not very good at all. And Vernie Simons wins it for trying to kiss the rim, but he couldn't reach the rim. So I'm like, dude.
A for effort.
No. Go big or go home. It's the final. You only get one dunk in the. It was a different format.
Was he really trying to actually put his lips on the rim?
I don't know. He was
smash your face.
That's what my dad said. He's like, you think he thought he was coming in too hot? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's COVID or something.
So he jumped high. Obi Toppin jumped far, and Cassius Stanley completed a couple dunks.
I will say, given maybe a few more years.
The legs though, that was pretty nice, didn't he? Cassius Stanley's. I thought Cassius Stanley's first one. Was the best one.
Right. I don't know. I do like Obi Toppin. I really think Obi Toppin could be really good in that dunk contest. He has a weird body that makes him long. So Obi Toppin really could be good. I don't know. They just need to start getting some name players.
They have them there, but they just don't dunk. I don't know why. I don't know what the push. You'd think the players would think it was cool to have some good players. Well, let's be honest. They know Cassius Stanley averages 1 point per game, and Anthony Simons is a backup, and Obi Toppin's a rookie that's played 17 games. You'd think they'd want something a little better than what we got. Honestly, LeBron could go out there and pull off these dunks that most of these guys did at age 36.
Right.
So, anyways, that's about it.
For the events, I mean, we like Jake mentioned, a lot of 3-pointers. Damian Lillard and Stephen Curry kept trading half-court shots, which was pretty.
They were shooting them free.
Pretty incredible. If you honestly think about it.
Half-court.
Well, there was that one possession at the end of, I think it was the end of the second quarter, where Lillard hit a half-court shot with 24 seconds left. And he get a stop. And Stephen, right after that, hit it again. I'm like, are you kidding me?
So, Dame was to the side, a step.
He was farther than Steph.
For real, to the side, a step behind the half-court line. Behind the line. Just launches it and drills it. Then, you're right, they get it back. Steph Curry just barely comes over, barely crosses half-court line. Swish. And then Damian also did it too. They did the Elam ending, is I believe what it's called, where you add a target score and play to that. Dame, he hit 1-3. Now they're 3 points away. They get it back. And it was funny because he starts to carry the ball up the court, and Steph just starts waving goodbye. He knows what's coming. Dame just right at half court line again, just heaves it up. Cash. That was actually pretty cool. That was probably. It was the best shooting All-Star game we've ever seen. At least long range wise. Yeah. And that honestly was more fun because there wasn't really any crazy dunks. There's usually a bit more
Yeah, I know Zion missed 3 dunks. I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
Early on, he was having a hard time. He hasn't. He probably didn't warm up well enough he does before games or something. Well,
and the funny thing is, Giannis set an NBA record for 16 of 16 from the field, and he put that on the line with that step back 3, and he banked. I think he banked in 2 3-pointers.
I think he did.
So
3 of 3 from the field, 3 of 3 from Giannis, which is pretty impressive for him.
I would have liked to have
really
seen
impressive for
Ben
him.
Simmons and Joel Embiid. I don't know if you guys knew they were pulled out of the game early because of COVID tracing. I wonder if Ben Simmons would have shot a 3-pointer in the All-Star game. I know Dwight Howard used to love to do it, but would Ben Simmons have done it?
Well, there was 133 of them, so probably.
I hope he would have, because, man.
Yeah.
Overall, it's fun entertainment. That's all it's for. It's for charity, like we mentioned.
Don't set your expectations too high.
No.
Because you're going to be let down.
Unless they get like an all-star lineup at dunk contest, then you can be like, okay.
Maybe one of these years they decide the NBA is just gonna blow this out of the water and make this the best. Like the players are gonna play hard.
Right.
We're gonna get the top names, the dunk contest top names in the 3-point shootout, like they had. Like again, 3-point shootout. I was like, oh, Jason Tatum.
Right.
Interesting. Donovan Mitchell. Interesting. Steph Curry. Like a good line. They had a really good lineup in the 3-point contest.
Which I was bummed about because Devin Booker was pulled out of that. Because I believe he injured his knee on the game before the All-Star break.
What did he?
I'm like, what are you doing?
I know Mike Conley was a late addition.
What was I going to say? I don't remember. But, yeah, that's pretty much it for All-Star. Brooklyn Nets acquired Blake Griffin, so in my opinion, it's an absolute shoe, and they're going to win the NBA championship.
You think Blake Griffin puts them over the top?
I do, because I feel like Blake Griffin was kind of the James Harden. You know how James Harden, when he was in Houston, he had that chunky look or whatever. Uh-huh. Then as soon as he gets traded to Brooklyn, he's all slimmed down and ready to go. I'm like, what the heck is this? I feel like that's kind of Blake Griffin. No one ever wants to play for the Detroit Pistons. Let's be honest here. No one ever wants to have their house in Detroit, okay? So he's like, I hate this team. That's how he felt. And then,
but he was getting paid so much money. I would live anywhere and play for any team to make that kind of money.
There's players who want to win though, and I really admire like the Vince Carters, the Joe Johnsons, the people who don't necessarily ring chase. They just want to enjoy the game. I don't know if that's what Blake Griffin's doing, is ring chasing, but Brooklyn's a pretty good place to go if you want to win a ring.
I think he is.
But so that kind of sucked.
He can't hardly stay healthy. I don't know really what he does to them because they need interior defense.
Right.
Of which you'd think he would be really good, but
he's not a very good defender.
He's really not a good
He's
defender.
not a very good defender.
He's just kind of got short arms, and so I think that hurts him. He can shoot, so he'll bring some outside shooting. That's the most I think he's gonna bring.
Yeah.
Did you know he hasn't dunked once this year?
I didn't know that.
He has not dunked one time.
And we just mentioned he dunked over like 100 times
as a rookie.
I really feel like it was 100.
It's crazy. Like honestly, like injuries. I think it's just injuries that have just completely robbed the man of all his athleticism, which is a real shame because like he over time started to when he was a rookie. He couldn't hit a shot out of 2 feet. Right. He couldn't make a free throw. He wouldn't ever dream of, shooting
8 3-pointers.
Yeah, 8 3-pointers in a game and making 3 of them.
Right.
So it would have really been interesting to see what could have happened if he stayed healthy so that he, could dunk like Zion or Blake Griffin. I mean, Blake Griffin was an incredible
He really was.
He might be
He could have been the
best
greatest
in-game dunkers.
He could, yeah.
I mean, he was just poster after poster after poster.
He was a freak.
He was, and now like I said, he's just so injured. He shoots threes. That's what he does.
Yeah.
So it really is a shame, but hopefully, I want to wish him the best, but I'd have a lot easier time wishing him the best if he went to like Minnesota,
right,
or Orlando, or who sucks? The Hawks or the Kings or something.
Yeah.
It's hard to wish someone the best. I just hope he's healthy and that he can play better, but I don't want the Nets to win the finals. So
right.
That's what I want. I want him to lose in the first round.
That'd be wonderful. Guys, let's...
Because the super team is back in the NBA now.
Absolutely.
We had a nice little run where that wasn't the case, or it was like, who's the best team? Who's got the best roster?
Right.
Who's going the furthest? And you're like, well, I'm thinking, the Clippers and the Lakers look good, but so do the Nets, so do the Celtics, so do a handful of teams.
Right.
The Warriors are going to be good next year. What is Dallas going to do? The Nuggets are overachieving. There was so much parity, but now I'm just like, it's going to be the Nets. I pretty much said it before. I'm still the Blake Griffin deal puts me up like 2.5% because if I was gonna bet any money, I'd bet on the Nets to win, and now I'd probably just bet a little bit more money,
but
not like a ton more. It's crazy. Like Blake Griffin, Rookie of the Year,
right,
first overall pick, human highlight reel is on like, yeah, he'll help him a little bit.
Right.
That's just what he's kind of turned into. But again, maybe Taylor's right. Maybe he goes to Brooklyn and old LA.
I will be honest, because when he came out, when he first came in the league, everybody loved Blake Griffin. I'll be honest, I did not like Blake Griffin.
I didn't care for him either.
I did not like Blake.
I didn't like people jumping on the Clippers bandwagon.
Right. Well, I didn't like him because I felt like all he could do was dunk.
Yeah.
And that's all he could do was dunk, like Jake mentioned. He really couldn't hit a shot outside of the paint. Which, I mean, neither could Shaquille O'Neal, but Shaquille O'Neal had more of a game than Blake Griffin first did. But I've actually started to like Blake Griffin a heck of a lot more just because he's got a complete game now. Jake mentioned he hasn't even dunked yet this year, maybe because he's been injured. But he can shoot the three now, which, again, I'm not a huge fan of big men shooting, but at least he's got more of a whole game.
He does. He rebounds.
He's a great passer.
4 assists a
He's a
game.
great passer. But
yeah. So we'll see what he does with Houston. Excuse me, Brooklyn. I don't know why I said Houston. I associated James Harden with Houston.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll see if they can all stay healthy because it seems like they have 3 of the most injury-prone players.
yeah, right.
3 of the most injury-prone all-stars in the league. I guess Blake Griffin's not really an all-star anymore, but 3 of the most injury-prone stars in the league because he still has that star status. I would say. James Harden is gonna play every game for 40 minutes. Yep. And Katie and Kyrie are gonna, jump in here and there. Blake Griffin's gonna probably injure himself again, and then they'll all be healthy miraculously once the playoffs.
Did you know James Harden is already second in Nets triple doubles
for the year?
In the Nets history, he already has the second most triple doubles in Nets history.
Really?
Yep, that's 7.
That's crazy. He's done it in less than half a season.
Yeah.
He's got quite a few, I'm sure, to catch Jason Kidd.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. I didn't know
and then
that.
Yeah.
Huh.
So if you guys really felt like this was your favorite All-Star game or All-Star weekend, comment and tell us why, because I really love to know why. Like, I don't know, maybe someone's got to like it. Heck, it's probably Anthony Simon's favorite All-Star weekend because he won the dunk contest.
Right.
But
I was overall happy to watch it, but again, it's the All-Star weekend. It's not the NBA Finals Game 7, and that's okay. That's not what it's meant to be. So,
right.
Anyways, but again, I want to touch on that. That is cool. They raised over $1 million of charities. So that's cool. That's cool. I like that rather than the players getting an extra paycheck that they really don't need. That they're able to donate it and look for people who need help. It's cool.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to try to make my case just really fast before we head out, Jake.
Cool.
So Jake challenged me to make my case that Pau Gasol is a Hall of Famer. Let me ask you right off the bat, Jake. Is Pau Gasol a Hall of Famer to you?
Probably not.
Let me change your mind!
And the reason, I think Paul Gasol had a really good career, right? I know he's just recently signed with, I think, the Barcelona basketball club in Spain, where he's from. So, the reason I say no, and it's really not actually knock against Paul Gasol that much, as it is the NBA Hall of Fame, because I think probably too many people get it.
I would agree.
So that's why I'm saying Pau Gasol doesn't make the cut, because it's not an obvious. To make Hall of Fame, it needs to be clear and obvious.
Again, let me change your mind.
All right, let's hear it.
So first off, Pau Gasol, he is only one of 3 players. Did you know he had over 20,000 points?
He did?
Yes, he did.
Really?
Pau Gasol had over 20,000 points.
Because Kawhi is probably somewhere around 11.
Yeah, Pau Gasol had over 20,000 points.
Really?
Okay. He is only one of 3 players who has 20,000 points and who is not yet in the Hall of Fame. He's not eligible yet for the Hall of Fame. Right. To be eligible, you have to be retired for 4 years.
And LeBron?
LeBron will have to be retired 4 years before he can even be inducted.
Okay.
So to be inducted, you have to be retired for 4 years, and then on your 5th year, then you can be inducted. So it'll be a while before LeBron James, Vince Carter, all those kind of players are inducted. And the other two players who have over 20,000 points and are not yet in is Joe Johnson and Antoine Jameson.
Antoine had over 20? Really?
Yeah. He's a two-time NBA champion, which we all knew that back in 09 and 010. It's not 010, it's 09 and
no,
10.
It's 010.
Is it?
2010.
I guess so. He's a six-time NBA All-Star. Okay. This kind of four-time All-NBA team. He was on the second twice and the third twice. He was Rookie of the Year. And this is just more of his EuroLeague stuff. He's a two-time Spanish League champion, two-time FIBA Europe Player of the Year. He is a World Cup gold medalist, a three-time Eurobasket gold medalist. His career averages are 17 points, 9.2 rebounds, and 3.2 assists. Like I said, he's over 20,000 points, which is 39th overall. I know that may not sound great, but call me when you guys are 39th overall.
There's a lot of NBA players.
Right.
There's been a lot of NBA players. That's got I don't know what percentage, that puts him in.
So and there's only 46 players who've ever scored 20,000 points. And he is 39th on the list. He has 11,305 rebounds, which again is 28th overall, which again doesn't sound very good, but you call me when you're 28th overall. He actually has more rebounds than David Robinson. I tried to find someone who was a Hall of Famer who he actually had more rebounds for, and that was actually only David Robinson I could find.
Okay.
But Pau Gasol in the NBA Finals, with Kobe putting in the 09 Finals, with Kobe putting up 32 points a game, Pau Gasol also averaged 18.6. In the 2010 NBA Finals, while Kobe was putting up about 29 points, Pau Gasol actually had scored more points than any of the Boston Celtics players the whole Finals. He had more points than any. He had a higher average. He had more points than Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen. Scored more points than any of the Celtics players. So it's got all the accolades I could find. He's got a ton of Spanish accolades. All of his EuroLeague stuff. He probably is the best EuroLeague player. He very well could be the best EuroLeague player.
EuroLeague.
EuroLeague. He is phenomenal back in his home, and he's just a great player. He's a great player. And like Jake mentioned, he did sign with Barcelona, so he's still playing. But
and I bet honestly, like the last couple of years of his career probably really dropped down his points per game. So I don't think what was his career 18?
17 points. 17.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably close. I mean, obviously over 20,000. Like during his prime years, he was probably somewhere around. I wonder did you ever find out what his career high in points per?
I think it was like 20. 20. It wasn't like anything extravagant, but
he had a very long. He was successful for a really long time. He was a really good player for a long period of time.
Right.
Which to me, I would favor over someone who had one or two insanely good years. Right. Kind of like Darren Williams. Darren Williams had a really great start to his career, but he really faded off the last couple of years. And he's about the same age as Chris Paul. He could still be in the league. I don't think he's anywhere near it.
Right.
So yeah, honestly, I think over 20,000, two-time champ, six-time All-Star, four-time All-NBA first team. I think you make a pretty good case.
Sweet.
Again, I'm a little bit more harsh, but you know what?
It's true.
If some of the people who have gotten in before him get in, I think it's absolutely fair for him to get that Hall of Fame nod.
Well, heck, didn't Yao Ming get Hall of Fame?
I think he did. He had an 11-year career?
Yeah, there's no way Yao Ming should have made the Hall of Fame. Let me know if I made a good case on the comments. But yeah, this is just going to be a really quick episode, and it looks like, what are we at? So
about
29, about 30 minutes.
You want to give me a case?
I think that's just about everything. I was trying to think of a case.
It's kind of hard.
It is kind of tough. So, you could obviously go with the obvious case, which is who's best, Michael or LeBron. You could do that case. We did an entire episode about that pretty much, so we won't really dive into that. I will think of one.
All right.
And I will let you know. And that way, on the next podcast, it'll be a surprise for you guys.
All right.
But yeah, NBA will be starting back up. Trade deadline's coming up too. There will be some teams who have already expressed interest in some specific players. We'll see what happens there. If it's a whole franchise changer or blockbuster trades, what happened, or if nothing really happens.
I don't foresee too many. I see a few role players and stuff like that, maybe some draft picks, stuff like that. But I don't see anything absurd. I don't think there's any team right now that's like, we need the big. Well, obviously the small market teams,
right.
But I don't know if any big market's is looking to offshore one of their big players for some role players and draft picks. So we'll see.
You probably won't get a notification that says breaking news: LeBron James just got traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, probably. But that would be crazy if that happened.
That would be such a disappointment. All right, thank you guys for tuning in. Until next week.